I know we all wish that life would be amazing all the time, that there would just be a high and high and high, and everything would be good. But then, how would we understand what good is without the bad? Because at times, life puts us in situations where we feel like nothing is going to work out, we're at rock bottom, and it just feels like we're going in the wrong direction. Your heart, your energy, and your soul are misaligned, and you feel like there is no other option for you. You feel like there is no other path that you can take. So you just end up going on autopilot, staying on that path because everybody else around you is doing the same. I used to feel that way as well. I was on a path that everybody else was on, and I thought that I had to fit in. I had to forge my way in this path that I really knew deep down inside wasn't for me. You see, when I got into New York University, I got in for an econ and math major. I was told to recruit for roles in investment banking, consulting, finance, quant, because those were the highest paying jobs and those provided the best exit opportunities. I started to do what everybody else was doing. I started to follow the herd. I started to optimize my resume, join consulting clubs, get leadership positions, get on-campus jobs so I can beef up my resume and get a summer internship. Because the way it usually works, at least in business, finance, econ roles and majors, is that you grind for like 2.5 years. You get a summer internship in your junior year. After your third year, you do well in that summer internship, hope for a return offer, and you have a return offer for after you graduate. And I saw so many of my seniors and even my peers doing that, and I thought that, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what I need to do to be a successful college graduate. So that's what I started to do. But I knew that deep down that this was not what I wanted to do, and I knew that I wasn't giving it my 100%. I used to get a lot of anxiety when applying to jobs, applying to internships, preparing for case interviews, preparing for behavioral interviews, simply because I was so afraid of failure and I really wanted to get those internships and jobs. I just thought that this was it, that if I didn't do well, if I didn't get a summer internship, then I was a failure. Then my parents spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on my education was all for nothing. And that's kind of what ended up happening. I wasn't able to get a summer internship in the United States, so I had to go back to Dubai and intern at a MNC there. And I know how privileged I sound right now. Oh, you weren't able to get a US internship, so you went back to your home in Dubai because your daddy got you an internship. And that's exactly what happened. I felt like I had failed to get an internship, but more so I felt like I had failed to rise up to the standard that all my friends were rising up to, and also failed to sort of meet the expectations of my parents. But more so I felt like a failure because I had to use my privilege and ask my dad to use one of his connections to get me an internship in Dubai, simply so that I had something to do in Dubai and something to do for the summer and something to write in my resume. But I'm really glad that I went through that process and I went through my internship in Dubai, because I realized that I didn't like what I was doing at that company. I didn't like working in Dubai. The people at the company were nice, but I just didn't like the work they were doing. And I knew that this was not for me. I ended up not getting a return offer from that company, and I started to recruit for full-time roles in consulting mainly once my senior year started. So this was like 2023 September. And 2023 September to 2023 November were pretty much some of the worst months of my life, because I was going through a cycle that I knew I wasn't meant to be a part of. I was trying to fit myself into a mold, dress up nice and prepare for consulting interviews, even though I knew that this was not what I was supposed to do. But I was lying to myself and telling myself that no, you should do it, you need to do it, this is how you get a job after graduation, otherwise how are you going to stay in this country? You have visa restrictions and you have to meet the expectations of your family who spent so much money on your education, and you can't look like a failure in front of your friends because, dude, you're doing an econ and data science major, you have a 3.9 GPA, you were the head boy of your school, you're supposed to be successful, you're supposed to come out on top, you're supposed to graduate with honors, and if you don't do that, if you don't get a high paying job, then you're a failure, then you haven't done the right things, then you did something wrong during your 4 years at college. Those are the kind of thoughts that were going inside my brain. And guess what? I absolutely hated the entire process. I didn't give it my all. I knew I didn't apply to as many internships and jobs as I should have. I knew I didn't do enough interview prep. I knew I could have done more networking. And that's simply because of the fact that I didn't want to do it. I simply hated applying to jobs, interviewing, kissing people's asses simply so they could give me a referral. I absolutely hated that process. And I kept asking myself, why am I doing this? Why am I juggling so many things and not succeeding at any single one of them? But now in retrospect, now that I'm almost a year out of college after finishing graduation last May in 2024, I realized that I had to go through that. I had to go through those challenging periods, those multiple failures, multiple rejections to be where I'm at right now. Now I'm building a startup. I create content with purpose. I have a following. I have leverage. People know me. me. I do work that actually fulfills me. I do work that I'm good at. And I had to go through all of that shittiness to come to where I'm at right now. And this is what life has taught me, that it can't always be roses and violets and sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it is very sad. Sometimes you will be put in positions that you know you don't belong in, simply so that you build up the power to dig yourself out of the hole that you were placed in, or the hole that you placed yourself in. In November, when nothing was working out, when I'd failed all my interviews, I'd stopped applying to jobs, I was living on autopilot, getting up, going to the gym, going to my classes, eating food, hanging out with a couple friends, and just wanting to go back to sleep and not wanting to do the entire cycle again. When I started to create content on Instagram, it was purely selfish. It was for me because I knew that I needed something else. I knew that I needed to tap into what I was doing as a child, which was making videos and just share and not expect anything from the world. And once I started to do that, once I started to give, once I started to create content for my younger self and genuinely provide value, the world really reciprocated a lot of love and really reciprocated a lot of good energy towards me. Because soon enough, I started to win. I started to gain a following. People started to want to talk to me. I started to make a name for myself. I even was able to, through my videos, through my personal brand, through content, I managed to attract somebody who would ask me to be their co-founder. We would start a business. We would figure out a way to pay me and pay all of us, and we would do this business in the service of international students in the US. We are doing this business in the service of international students in the US. I'm an international student in the US, so it's just such a full circle moment for me, because I had to go through so many things that were not meant for me to feel peace with the fact that I'm doing things that were meant for me, that only I can do because I have specific knowledge and I have a skill set that nobody else has, and I have a voice that I know I need to use to better the lives of international students in the US and eventually international students worldwide. Before, nobody was rooting for me. I had nothing going for me. I was constantly chasing after the best jobs, internships, networking, referrals, all of that bullshit. And now I'm at a place where I'm attracting more. I've stopped chasing because I have realized that what is not meant for me is not meant for me, and what is meant for me will come to me provided I put out the right energies into the world. And that has truly been such a big learning for me. You can't expect people to be at your door if you're not giving value in the first place, especially if you're young. You have to be willing to give before you can even expect to receive anything. But I know I'm digressing a little bit from the video's point. I just want to tell you that if you are in a place where you feel like this is not meant for you, where you know deep down that you're meant for bigger things, that you're not meant for a desk job, that you're not meant for a 9 to 5, that you're not meant to kiss a boss's ass simply you can get a promotion, then please listen to yourself. Please listen to that inner voice and please take according action. 2 years down the line, 5 years down the line, you're going to be 5 years older. So might as well be doing things that you actually love and actually enjoy doing instead of hating your life every single day. Creating content for myself and then eventually for other people so that I could provide as much value to them was one of the best decisions I ever made for myself, because it truly allows me to feel a sense of purpose. I wake up and most days I now do want to get out of bed and I walk with my head held up high because I know that I'm doing something for myself in the service of other people, and that is a beautiful feeling. But right before I won, right before I started winning in my eyes and in the eyes of my parents and in the eyes of everybody else around me, I was not winning. I was losing at a scale that I'd never lost in my entire life. Only when I started to listen to myself and put myself out there, like truly put myself out there and give to my community, only then was I able to alleviate the certainty that comes with whether you're going to be able to stay in the country after graduation, whether you're going to be able to make money, whether you're going to be able to live in the city of your dreams, whether you're going to have to go back home. All of that I was only able to do once I started to take action for myself and I started to listen to myself. And that is what I want you to take away from this video as well. If you feel a calling towards something that is unconventional, if you feel a calling towards something that people don't usually do, even if people around you are not doing it, nobody around me knew how to make content, nobody around me knew what a personal brand is, and yet I continued to do it because I knew that if I just continued down this online journey, if I continue to provide value online, I would be able to monetize it and I would be able to make a living for myself and I would be able to generate an impact, which at the end of the day is the most important thing to me. That's exactly why I'm doing this as well, so that maybe one person can listen to this and take action in their lives and try to change the life of not only themselves but everybody else around them as well. If you're in a bad place right now, man, if you feel like life is putting you you through the shitter. I understand, but understand that that is life. Sometimes you have to experience bad, worse things simply so that you can emerge stronger and experience the good things in life. And also ask yourself whether you actually want to be going down the path that you're going down, or whether you want to do something else with your life. Ask yourself those hard questions, and I promise you, in a year or two, you will not regret it. That is all for today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow.